This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Two new reports are demanding urgent change to our child protection system, with claims parents and children are at risk. The Anglicare Tasmania research says poverty and a critical lack of support have already torn vulnerable families apart.
Breaking the cycle, two new reports highlighting child protection failures.
The consequences for families are so devastating. Parents describe their world falling apart around them as they try to deal with the practical and emotional consequences of child removal.
The Anglicare Tasmania research found 20% of mothers who had a child removed from their care would go on to experience further removals, adding pressure to an already embattled child protection system.
And we looked at it over an 18-year period, and we found that accounted for an additional 570 children entering the out-of-home care system.
Also revealing serious flaws in government payments, leaving parents in poverty.
When children are removed by child safety services, parenting income is also removed from that family. And that means they lose usually between half and 2/3 of their household income. Imagine what that would be like for you.
Making it almost impossible to ever get their children back. The two authors calling for urgent change to policy and planning to support families to stay together. The government to consider the findings.
What we are doing is focusing very much on early intervention initiatives. Our redesign of the child protection system really supports that early intervention model.
And as the reports reveal the emotional impact of trauma, today a new communications charter is urging us to speak up about mental health.
It can make a difference between someone talking and someone reaching out for help, or someone feeling that they're being treated as a person with understanding or not.
Take 5, think about it, make the call, organise to go and see someone. You will not regret telling someone about your mental health. It will be the biggest and the best step forward for you.
Michelle Wisby, Southern Cross News.
The trial of a man who allegedly stabbed an elderly shopkeeper to death in broad daylight has today heard the original police interview. Darryl Wayne Cook telling officers he had killed a heathen in order to live his eternal purpose.
The second day of evidence for the family of Vula Delios. The 68-year-old shopkeeper died after allegedly being stabbed by Darryl Wayne Cook around midday in July 2016. Police arrested him that evening in Claremont, seizing a knife, and when asked if it was used during the attack, he allegedly said it was. The court shown the original police interview, where he stated he had executed a heathen as they had been attacking him for 30 years. Mr Cook said he was on antipsychotics and sedatives and that heathens sometimes attack him when he's not taking them. He told police he was following God's directions in order to live his eternal purpose and that he hadn't chosen Ms Delios specifically. The officer saying, "This little old lady didn't attack you, did she?" To which he replied, "No, not today, but she has in the past." Mr Cook was released from jail a day earlier, with prison chaplains previously giving evidence that he'd shared his intentions. The 36-year-old has pleaded not guilty on the grounds of insanity, with both prosecution and defence arguing for the jury to come to that same conclusion. Part of the evidence shown here in court today was pictures taken by forensic officers at the scene. Those pictures showing a pool of blood next to the counter of what was once a very popular Hobart store. That autopsy evidence today caused one juror to break down sobbing and for the court to be adjourned for a break. The trial continues on Wednesday. Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
Human remains found near Myrtle Park last month have been formally identified as belonging to murdered man Jake Anderson Britnie. The torso of the 24-year-old was located just outside Launceston on August 19, following a large-scale search. Police have also confirmed the case has interstate links. 26-year-old Jack Sadler has been charged with murder but has not entered a plea, while 25-year-old Gemma Clark has pleaded not guilty to being an accessory after the fact of murder. Anyone with information is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. Police say no charges will be laid following a fight between fans during a Northern Tasmanian Football Association game on the weekend. Vision shows fists flying between the group during the Division 2 Grand Final at Windsor Park. Tasmania Police says it did not receive a formal complaint from the incident. The NTFA was contacted for comment. AirAsia pilots will soon be earning their wings in Tasmania. AirAsia will train up to 75 pilots in Hobart under the plan.
From next month, the first wave of AirAsia cadets will begin landing here at Cambridge Airport. AirAsia has been cleared by the Malaysian Civil Aviation Authority to train 75 cadets over 2019, as Tasmania is enlisted into supplying the global pilot shortage.
We do their basic training here in Hobart, so their first solo, cross-country, some night flying, instrument flying, basically, the first round of, becoming a pilot.
After 9 months of training in these Cessnas, they'll take the controls of Airbus simulators in Singapore, and then they'll move on to the real thing.
And AirAsia is a rapidly growing low-cost carrier. They're getting one on new aircraft every month, so this requires a lot of pilots, maybe 8 or 10 crew of each new aircraft there.
In a statement, the company said Australia offers a unique learning environment and is recognised as a leader in aviation safety. It's not just Hobart in the sights. There's also hope a second training academy could open here in Devonport, dedicated for international pilots.
There'll be 75 pilots on course, plus instructors and support staff, plus aircraft. So it'd be quite a good establishment for a flight training facility here for us.
AirAsia is still in talks with the airport bosses, but there's agreement Tasmania's uncongested airspace and terrain makes for perfect training conditions.
A lot of airports around Tasmania. We've got good weather and bad conditions, so you want to fly in all conditions. We've got the mountains as well as the coastal ranges.
I think this place is really just set to be picked up by the world and used as a breeding ground for the next generation of pilots.
Meanwhile, Launceston Airport is still waiting on its bid to become a pilot training academy for Qantas. Sean McComish, Southern Cross News.
The number of children in need of foster care is rising, and now there's a fresh push for more Tasmanians to consider opening their homes. Organisation Life Without Barriers is partnering up with Ashgrove to spread the potentially life-changing message during National Foster Carers Week.
When Eleanor Kramer decided to become a foster carer 5 years ago, she had little idea what she was signing up for. It wasn't long before the mother of 3 became hooked.
Once I'd realised what kids go through in foster care, I thought I'd, give it a try and see if I could help out.
There are a number of children that require stable and loving placements, and we need more foster carers to be able to support these children.
Now she's urging others to also consider fostering a child. And joining the push is Tasmanian dairy company Ashgrove.
What we've done at Ashgrove is we've got 10,000 of these nick tags. We put them on our bottles as they've gone out to all the IGAs, all the other major supermarkets around the state.
The company says it's an issue which doesn't get enough attention.
Well, milk is going into every home in Tasmania where children are. So what an ideal partnership, what an ideal way to get the message out there.
Eleanor says there are a range of reasons why children are unable to live with their biological parents.
Some of these kids have, trauma in their lives that they can't, deal with. Unfortunately, in Tasmania, there's, drugs.
Over the last 5 years, there's been a 13% increase in the number of Tasmanian children in need of foster homes, with just over 1,200 currently in care across the state. And for those interested in giving it a go, fostering a child doesn't have to be a full-time commitment.
A weekend a month. It's as simple as that. We send them home or they stay and they just fit into the family.
Judy Augustine, Southern Cross News.
Tasmanians are being urged to ensure they're up to date with whooping cough vaccinations, following an increase in the number of cases reported across the state. Most have been in Devonport, with 14 incidents detected since the start of August. Symptoms can include a runny nose, sneezing, mild fever and a mild cough. Under the National Immunisation Program, the vaccine is free to some children and pregnant women in their last trimester. A new deal between the University of Tasmania and Australia's peak engineering body is set to boost education and employment opportunities for students. The partnership with Engineers Australia is a first of its kind, designed to attract more students to the field. With the role of engineers rapidly changing, the university says it's about better preparing graduates for the future.
When we look at the future workforce for Tasmania, if we want to remain globally competitive with our manufacturing industries, we will need more engineers. We will need different types of engineers.
One of the most important outcomes from this is actually looking at how we build a world-class education system that is quite connected to what industry is actually looking for.
Australia has more than 100,000 members, connecting UTAS students to the world. Now let's take a look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The Australian stock market has closed flat despite recovering some of its early losses after better than expected economic data from China. The ASX 200 index fell 2.1 points. Short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 71.1 US cents and 61.58 euro cents.
It's shaping up as one of the most skillful and hotly contested TSL Grand Finals in recent times. After last year's premiership heartache, Lauderdale head in with a score to settle, but will need every bit of talent they can muster against a side many feel can't be beaten. Set to appear in their 5th consecutive grand final, having won the past 3 out of 4 flags. This is all very familiar territory for North Launceston, while Lauderdale are feeling slightly more settled this time around.
It's funny because, you know, each of them are special, but you get used to them a little bit. So the build-up's probably a bit more low-key, but you still really enjoy it.
I think it's going to be a lot better preparation than we had last year. We sort of know what's going to happen, and hopefully it can be a little bit different result.
Thumped by 97 points in last year's decider, the Southern Bombers boast a string of new talent in 2018, coming from behind to overrun Glenorchy during last Saturday's semi.
We've shown the last couple of weeks, the last quarters, we've really run out games well, so we're feeling quite fit and fresh. There's no reason why we can't run over the top of this side as well.
Kerenaya and Mosquito have been playing some really good footy, so we'll put some time into not only those guys but to their forward group and their mid group. They've got quality all over the ground.
Not short on quality themselves, Tom Couch is expected to be named in the North Launceston squad, along with Team of the Year defender Jay Foon, who'll return from what was predicted to be a season-ending neck injury.
Even if it's a 5 to 10 minute patch, they can kick 5 or 6 on you because they're just so talented and they move the ball so quick.
Hoping to follow in the footsteps of premiership winning coaches Zane Littlejohn and Tom Couch, Whitford wouldn't buy into talk surrounding his own legacy at the club.
If you're looking at the end result, it's probably not the way to go about it. I haven't done it this year. I haven't looked at the wins or loss. I'm focusing on what we're doing during the week and how we present ourselves on a Saturday.
And having let the pressure of last year get the better of them right from the opening bounce, McGuinness is confident history won't repeat at UTAS Stadium come 3 p.m. on Saturday.
This time we really need to take it with both hands, and we're really going to have a crack at them. We're going to try and beat them. We believe we can beat them. I don't think they're unbeatable.
Tasmania's Stewart McSwain threatened to provide a boil-over in the 3,000-metre event at the 2018 Continental Cup in the Czech Republic overnight. In a format which saw runners eliminated after each lap, McSwain was one of 4 remaining in the final stretch, but the King Island product couldn't quite go with the leaders in the sprint finish, finishing up in 4th place to conclude his career best season.
Good evening. Hobart cracked the 20s today with a warm start to the working week and nice welcome back weather. Launceston and Britnie recorded 18, Devonport 19 today. Some temperatures up to 6 above average, with parts of the state having weather similar to Morocco. Campania and Bushy Park 20, Friendly Beaches, Grove and Ouse 19, St Helens 17 today, King Island 16, Flinders Island and Lyawini 15, Low Head and Strawn 14. Will it keep up for the rest of the week? I doubt it. Let's have a look around the state today. The cloud, not too much, a bit just pushing over the west and northwest of the state, mostly clear over Tasmania. Low to middle level clouders over the Bight and to our west, with more south of Western Australia. Bit of cloud also clipping the northeastern part of Queensland, but mostly clear. Tomorrow a high sits over northern New South Wales with another on the opposite side of the country. A strong cold front moves over South Australia with troughs to the north. Northerly winds tomorrow at 15 to 25 knots over the north, but up to 20 to 30 knots over the rest of the coastline. Swells to 4 metres in western and southern waters. With the winds picking up, we have a gale warning from southeast Cape to low below Rocky Point, and also from Sandy Cape to Stanley, a strong wind warning for remaining coastal waters and a small craft wind alert for the lakes. So into tomorrow we go. 21 again for Hobart, but a late shower moving in. 17 for Adventure Bay, Tarraleah 15 the top. For Launceston, early fog, late showers 18 the top, 16 for Devonport, a late shower for Bridport and 15 degrees. For Britnie, late showers 16, 19 the top for Strawn, becoming windy later. Also for Marrawar, 17 degrees with wind and late showers. St Helens partly cloudy, 17, bit of sun for Swansea, 19, 18 the top for Whitemark. On Wednesday, showers across the state, contracting to the north and west in the afternoon. Some snow to 900 metres. I didn't come back for this kind of weather. Not any better on Thursday with strong and gusty northwesterly winds, and on Friday, showers again, contracting to the north and west. A cool day in Perth tomorrow. An afternoon shower forecast for Adelaide. Sunny but windy in Melbourne. Fine for Sydney and Brisbane. Currently the conditions are clear. Hobart 16 degrees, Launceston 13 degrees, and currently we have a top of 13 at the moment in Devonport. And to you, Joe, buenas noches, y adios, te veo mañana.
And to you, Murph, it's lovely to have you home. We did miss you. All right, that's all from the team for now. Thanks so much for your company. We'll see you a bit later with updates. Good night.